A powered subwoofer is the easiest and most cost-effective way to add some much-needed bass to your car. Powered subs contain everything in one package: an amplifier, enclosure, and subwoofer, and this eliminates a lot of potential guesswork involved in putting together a bass system from scratch. The Sound Ordnance sub that we're installing in my car has an 8-inch woofer and a 120-watt amplifier, all in a compact platform that's perfect where space is tight. The powered sub needs a supply of 12-volt power. We needed to run a cable from the battery through the passenger compartment to the trunk. Space under the hood was tight, so it was necessary to remove the airbox and battery to get access to the firewall. With these out of the way, we routed the power cable through an existing gasket in the firewall. From there, we pulled the cable into the passenger compartment. We took the time to pull through all the cable we'd need. It's easier to route the cable when you've got some slack on the line. Once the cable had been pulled through, we could reinstall the battery and airbox. There's usually ample space under the kick panel and interior trim to route the cable. We levered these pieces off with a panel tool and then lifted them out of the way. Then we pulled up the rubber gasket that seals the door. This gave us plenty of room to work with. Now we could pull back the carpet along the edge and slide the power cable underneath. Moving to the back doors, we repeated the process, sliding the cable behind the interior panel and then removing the trim and gasket so we could slide the cable under the carpet. We employed a common trick to get the cable back into the hatch area. We pushed a stiff wire through the space behind the seat. Then we taped the power cable to the wire. We use masking tape, though electrical tape often slides through the tight spots a little better. By pulling on the wire, we were able to bring the power cable back to the rear of the car. The next step was to route the RCA patch cable and remote turn-on lead from the receiver to the amplifier. We chose to route the cables down the other side of the car to avoid any possible electrical interference from the power cable. With the glove box removed, it was a fairly simple matter to push the cables back into the radio cavity. Then we connected the patch cable to the preamp outputs of the receiver. Next, we spliced the remote turn-on lead to the receiver's accessory wire. Posiproducts connectors make it very easy to get a secure, solid connection. As before, we routed the cables under the carpets and alongside the doors until we got to the rear of the car. Once the cables were routed, we could put things back in place alongside the doors. Your powered sub will need to be grounded, and you'll need some bare metal for that. In our case, we had a logical grounding point in the spare tire well. Try to find an existing bolt that you can attach the ground cable to. We found a handy one under the carpet. We loosened the bolt with an adjustable wrench. Be sure the metal surface under the bolt is free of paint or other coatings. It's a good idea to sand the surface to ensure you get good contact with the metal. Many noise problems in car stereo systems are caused by poorly grounded gear. Then it's a simple matter to slide the ground cable, crimped to a ring terminal, underneath the bolt and tighten it to make a solid connection. With the ground cable connected, we were ready to put things back in place and hook up and mount the powered sub. This Sound Ordnance powered subwoofer is pretty typical of most powered subs. It has connections for the ground, power, remote wire, and RCA preamp inputs. It also includes high power inputs for connecting to a speaker level signal, and this one has a remote level control for making adjustments to the bass level from the front seat. The final step of the installation is connecting all the wires. First, connect everything to the powered sub itself. After you've double-checked all these connections, connecting the power wire to the battery should be the very last step. If you have any questions about choosing or installing a powered subwoofer, give us a call.